What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Smiths. And we're going to listen to the last tune in the folder for the non-album tracks from the era of their Queen is Dead album, 1986. Thank you again to Daisylusion. And this one has a bit of a parenthetical stipulation in the metadata, which is to say, the title of the track is It Really So Strange? And the parenthetical metadata stipulation is that it's an unreleased, unmastered track from the John Peel sessions. So yes, apparently this is something they did for a radio performance, but was not given a proper mastering treatment or put on any single. So yes, if I'm reading that right, this one is a bit of a one-off, I guess. But yeah, the title, Is It Really So Strange? It sounds like something you say more or less as a rhetorical question. The idea or the implication being that it should be expected or that it follows from some set of conditions, and maybe the speaker is saying to someone else who was perplexed or confused by whatever this entity or process or understanding is, that, why is this confusing to you? Why are you thrown off by something that, if you were paying attention, if you were watching closely, or if you're using your brain logically, should have been inevitable or should have been seen by you in advance? So let's give it a listen and see what I can catch. This is the Smiths. The tune is It Really So Strange? And as I said, this is indicated to be an unreleased, unmastered Peel session from the 17th of December, the day before my birthday, in 1986.
I left the door, I traveled south. I found a tiny house and I can't help the way I feel. Oh yes, you can kick me, and you can punch me, and you can break my face, but you won't change the way I feel. 'Cause I love you. And is it really so strange? Oh, is it really so strange? Oh, is it really so strange? I say no, you say yes, and you will change your mind. I left the south, I traveled north. I got confused, I killed a horse. I can't help the way I feel. Oh yes, you can punch me, and you can put me, and you can break my spine, but you won't change the way I feel. 'Cause I love you. And is it really so strange? Oh, is it really so strange? Oh, is it really so strange? I say no, you say yes, but you won't change your mind. I left the north again, I traveled south again, and I got confused, I killed an all. I can't help the way I feel. I can't help the way I feel. I can't help the way I feel. I lost my bag in the port packing now. Why is the last mile the hardest mile?
Oh, that one lyrically. So, okay, like, there's the most notable feature, which is Morrissey's character saying to this other person that, you could commit all sorts of brutal violence against me, including things that would more or less kill him, but he's not going to change his thoughts or his feelings on this. He loves the other person, and he's saying that they may not love him, but maybe they'll change their mind. So it's like he's conveying, and again, if the title of the track relates to that, I suppose the question is it really so strange I love you, or is it really so strange that I am solid in my conviction about this, and there's going to be no wavering, there's going to be no waffling or backsliding on this perspective and maybe on this feeling. But yeah, I don't quite know. I mean, there was a moment where I thought, okay, are we talking about some form of sexuality? Because it seemed like he was saying, like, what was it? Like he got a disease or something like that? I wasn't sure. But then there was a line later, like, or right by the end, that, I'm not going home again. So, yeah, I don't know the tidbits that I caught. I don't quite know how they all stitch together. But obviously, again, the main dynamic is this declaration to another person that you could do all sorts of things to me, including the most damaging physical punishment possible, and I'm resolute, I'm steadfast in the way I see and feel about this. It's you who might change your mind. So yeah, I don't quite know what to make of it lyrically, but I am intrigued. I like Morrissey's vocals. A couple moments where he does that wavy, flourishing type of delivery that I think is his calling card. I also think, what are you doing, Luca? She's like jumping against the door. Sonically, I feel like this is more or less center lane for the Smiths sound, certainly in the earlier years. Again, Strange Ways was a bit different, but this sounds like vintage Smiths, but maybe just a tad a bit more folk country. There were just some of the sonic moments that felt like they had a bit more of a rustic or rural type of sound to them. Maybe I'm imagining that, or maybe, there's other tunes that are with that indie rock meets a bit of a folk sound. But yeah, there's just a couple moments along the way that gave me like a indie rock meets country type of feel. Either way, I think it's a compelling tune. I wonder why this was never released. Maybe they felt like it was a work in progress, and they needed to develop it more before they'd put it on an actual single or something, or much less an album. But perhaps they just felt it didn't get to where it needed to be. But yeah, a cool tune. Once again, thank you to Daisylusion for these non-album tracks. So in the moment, I'm forgetting what the next folder is. I'm assuming it just is more tunes related. Yeah, so it's non-album tracks from the era of Strange Ways, Here We Come. This folder seems like it only has 6 tracks, so definitely fewer than the previous couple that's right, Meat is Murder, there were only 4, or is it 5? Yeah, it's 4. Whereas The Queen is Dead, there were 9. So either way, we've got 6 more non-album tunes to go from the Smiths, so looking forward to those. Let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.